Back on the Rob Dibble Show, Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive. Defending champ, Connecticut Open. Joining us on the hotline now, Jackson Roman. He's from Berlin, Connecticut. He goes to Loyola down in Maryland. Amateur to win it. So, Jackson, when you won the tournament last year, what was it like to be like a local kid and win the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a pretty cool week. I mean, I grew up playing in the CSGA events, so, just growing up, playing like Connecticut Am, Connecticut Open, driving in and you see all those posters of past winners. It's definitely, it's been like a dream of mine growing up to be able to win a CSGA event, especially the Connecticut Open. I mean, that's their biggest event. So, being able to go up against the pros that I saw on those posters growing up, and also just some of the young guys who are really good right now. It was definitely just a really cool experience to be able to, say I won that event, and it'll be really cool to see my own poster driving in, this year.
So awesome. We're talking the 2024 champ of the Connecticut Open. You're the first amateur to do it since 2008, which is just an incredible accomplishment. It really is surreal to think about, just for you, validation, total validation. When I was in school, man, I had a couple of boys that were college golfers, and I was always so jealous of their lifestyle and then getting out to compete with people way older than them during the summer in some of these amateur tournaments to really measure themselves up. When you win something like that and then you go to Loyola for your college golf, you've got to be walking around with your head held high. It has to add some extra juice and confidence to your game when you bring home a championship.
Yeah, I mean for sure. Although golf is a crazy game, there's a lot of ups and a lot of downs. So definitely not taking something like that for granted. It was definitely definitely some validation that came out of that. It's so hard to win in golf at any level. And sometimes, you go so long without winning or having a top finish. But when you do, when you start playing some good golf and you win or you have a great finish, it definitely is a huge confidence booster. Just knowing that you're doing the right things in your practice and you're on a good track,
Talking to Jackson Roman, he is the reigning champion of the Connecticut Open, and the 91st Open is coming up. It will be played at Blackhall Country Club in Old Lyme. Let me ask you about your type 1 diabetes, and what does that do to you during these tournaments? Obviously, you got to watch that all the time, but how is it keeping your energy up for 4 or 5 hours during one of these rounds?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy, that's for sure. But it's a learning experience every day. I mean, every type 1 diabetic knows no day is the same. But the more I play, the more I learn. I'm not a master at it yet. Having to deal with it, watching where my blood sugar is at, understanding, maybe how the weather of the day, if it's super hot, super cold, adrenaline too. If my adrenaline's up, that might affect my blood sugar. So just kind of keeping it all in mind. And sometimes it kind of helps having something else to think about on the golf course. I've heard stories like Neil Shipley doing math on the golf course to distract himself. I guess I'm technically also doing some math out there, figuring out how much insulin I need or carbohydrates I need to eat, which kind of gives me a little bit of break from the possible pressures of the tournament I'm playing in.
I love that. You turn it into such a positive, man, keeping your mind off the actual golf. Explain to us this. We talk to the Travelers guys about this all the time as far as amateur status. And now with, the world of NIL and you can possibly get paid for your name, image, and likeness, you could go have a golf clinic like the Jackson Roman Golf Clinic, make money off your name or win a tournament. Why do golfers continue to keep amateur status? Does that matter in college? Explain that to us, why amateur status still matters to you instead of just going pro.
Right. I mean there are still rules around the amateur status. So I can only play college golf if I'm an amateur. There definitely is a gray area between NIL and being a professional and earning money through winning tournaments. It does feel like it's pretty similar, where you could have, some brand run an event and the winner gets paid money for being a pro, but the amateur can't. But then they can turn to, a college player who's an amateur and give them the same amount of money they gave to the winner in NIL, but, the amateur can't win it in the professional event.
Right. That makes no sense. Does that make sense to you?
No, not really, to be honest. But it's still definitely like a working process for the whole NIL scene in general. It seems it's kind of changing every day. So, it's definitely kind of a weird dynamic between those two things.
All right, as far as Black Hall Club in Old Lyme, how often have you played it? What do you know about it? And what's going to be like defending your title?
Yeah, actually, I got to go out there yesterday, which was pretty good timing for this. And I played there maybe once or twice, but it'd been a few years. The course is definitely a little bit different than the course from last year. There's some open holes out there, where you can hit the driver. But there's definitely a lot of holes where you gotta kind of navigate through the woods a little bit, figure out where to hit it. You got to hit in certain spots to make sure you got the best angle into the green. And the greens are quite tricky too. So I'm really excited to, try and defend the title and just go out there and play golf.
You're already kicking butt. You had a great career already at Loyola. Still 1 year to go there. You're from Berlin, Connecticut. Did I say it right or wrong in that time, Rob?
You said it right.
Berlin.
It's not Berlin. It's Berlin.
Berlin, Connecticut. Like, what got you started in the game, and when did you flip the switch to where, like, this could be my profession and I could actually make the move to go pro someday?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing golf. I started playing golf probably when I was 3 or 4. My dad brought me out to the course. I'd probably started with just some plastic sticks, but I played, like junior, like U.S. kids, junior golf events from the ages like probably 5 or 6 up until 12, and then played in like CTPJ or small, junior tours. But it probably wasn't until, maybe sophomore year of high school where like I kind of had a decision to make, do I want to really take this thing seriously? Because I still wasn't, playing Division I level golf in high school yet. So I feel like it was definitely a turning point in high school. And honestly, COVID might have helped junior year too, because the only thing you could do was kind of go outside and play golf. But yeah, definitely just like started applying myself to the game. And, I always tell people, the number one rule I have is I got to be having fun, right? It's such a nerve-wracking game. You can really get inside your head. So my goal every day on the golf course is to have fun. And I think that's definitely helped me, sustain good golf for a long period of time and gives me the opportunity to be able to pursue golf professionally after school.
Talking to Jackson Roman, he is the reigning champion of the Connecticut Open. All right, for young golfers like yourself, college age, high school age, even younger, what are some of the things you learned growing up that helped you become such a consistent golfer?
Yeah, I mean, the golf is just like a long learning process. I feel like every single golfer can agree that, like, it's never done, you know what I mean? There's never a finish line. There's always something you can do better. But I feel like, one thing that has really helped me and I've learned throughout the way is kind of just being honest with yourself. Sometimes it's hard to do that, especially when you have maybe parts of your game that you don't want to be, struggling in. Or sometimes, maybe you missed a few short putts, but really it was your driving that you were struggling with. But just being honest with yourself helps a lot when you're trying to improve, because there's so much in golf. There's equipment, there's the swing, the short game, the putting, especially in tournament golf. There's how to approach the golf course, how to navigate. So just like being really open-minded when it comes to everything. And accepting that, some things you're not going to be great at right off the bat, and some things you might be. And just being able to pinpoint what those possible areas where you need the most improvement are will help you improve faster.
He's the 90th Connecticut Open champion, Jackson Roman. Connecticut Open presented by Ascend Bank. Again, July 28th through 30th. Rob Dibble Show will be live the first 2 days of play, 28th and 29th, that Monday and Tuesday. Jackson, you were telling us, too, before we got started, the Maryland Am is coming up. That's one you've performed in pretty well in the past, plus your mates from the Loyola Maryland golf team are going to be there, so you guys are probably going to try to represent Loyola. But how much do you represent Connecticut? Like playing in Maryland, I know that's not too far south, but I know a lot of those courses you play are in Florida, in Texas, all over the South. When they see CT next to your name, like is it something like a sense of pride, a chip on the shoulder, because all these other guys may think they're better than all of us New Englanders because we only can play like so many months a year?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. When I teed up in a lot of events, there are not too many Connecticut players. Obviously, Connecticut has a very strong golf culture.
Yeah.
Everyone in Connecticut knows that. You go to the golf course, and any golf course you drive by on the road, and it's always packed out there. But being out there and not too many Connecticut guys, I definitely got a chip on my shoulder. It's awesome to represent Connecticut, represent my club too, Shovel Meadow. Yeah, I mean, there's not too many competitive amateur golfers out there from Connecticut right now. The ones that are really, really good. Obviously, everyone knows Ben James. He's been playing a lot of great golf, but there's a lot of junior golfers that I know and a lot of golfers who have already come through Connecticut that are really, really accomplished. And I got a chip on my shoulder to play as a resident of Connecticut, but also to be able to follow in some of their footsteps.
Well, hey, we'll see you in a couple weeks out there at Black Hall. Good luck in the next couple of tournaments you play in, and thank you so much for your time, Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.